Hey everybody, it's Mike from Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing. Also brought to you by Illumniptically, think tank of the future. The Sweet Songs by Serena Wagner, based on the life of King David, available on Amazon and High Time Music. Check our latest at hightimemusic.com. We heard Triffitt gentleman who's a multi-talented singer, songwriter, born into a military family. His dad was a DJ in the military in Germany. Spent the first few years moving up and down the East Coast before going to college in South Carolina to make music. He's also played the Blue Moon stage at Carolina County Music Fest, numerous followers on many music platforms as well as social media. And he's in Nashville, moved there a couple of months ago, and he's got some singles out like Can't Take the Dog, single this summer, Richest Man I Knew, and he's been talking about A Soldier's Son. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios in the beautiful heart of Music City, the multi-talented singer, songwriter, born in a military family, and also the song Soldier's Son. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Matt Oakley. Matt, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, happy to be here. Happy to be here. I'm glad we were able to get on.
We're great to have you on board, Matt. You're a multi-talented singer, songwriter, born in a military family. Your dad was a DJ in the military in Germany. You spent the first few years moving up down the East Coast before going to college in South Carolina to make music. You play at the Blue Moon stage at the Carolina County Music Fest. You have numerous followers on many platforms, social media handles. You also had songs like Can't Take the Dogs, Single This Summer, Richest Man I Knew, Away with Words, and also Dive Bar, The Whisky Does. And we're going to be talking about A Soldier's Son. And before getting all that, Matt, tell us how I first got started.
Yeah, for sure. So music, so like you said, my dad was a DJ, so we always had music playing. He had mixtapes and playlists that he had put together. We'd play on boom boxes, he'd burn them to CDs, and we'd play them in the car whenever we were going up and down the East Coast. It was just one of those things that was always a part of my life. And then when I got to college and we had some downtime in COVID, I was really able to kind of dial it in, dive into what it means to be a songwriter, and eventually releasing my own music and putting it all together in my early 20s was a fun process. And I got started in college, and it's grown into this thing now that's got me, as you can see, in home studio down here in Nashville, Tennessee. And
Oh wow, amazing! And even the boombox your dad played on.
yeah, it was, I remember it clear as day. I was only like 4 or 5 years old, but we would stand on the table, me and my older sister, and he would put a CD in this like gray and light blue boombox, and we would just, it was, I couldn't remember the songs that he would play, but we loved it. And my parents would be cooking, and we would just be listening to music and singing along. So it's always been around, and now it's so much so around that it's been a big part of my life as far as what I do for a living.
And you say your dad was a DJ in the military in Germany. That had to be a wonderful experience. How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, I think it stemmed from a genuine passion for music. He's got one as well, and he passed it down to me. Um, I'm not sure exactly how it came up, but he was stationed over there for 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure if he got extended by 1 or 2 years. It was 4 or 6, one of the two. Um, and him and his buddies would go out at this strip of bars in right off base, and everyone loved American music. And so he was like, I'll go ahead and put together a playlist. And he got in touch with the bar owner, and they had him DJ there, and he would run through all the songs. And it's cool to hear stories about it. I wasn't even born when that had happened, but when we were born, he took his DJ skills in the car with us, and on that boombox at home.
Oh my gosh! Now, did he go on to have a DJ career after the military?
No, he got into government contracting and real estate, but it one of those things. Again, it was just a passion that he had, and he loved doing it. So it just existed for him and for us, and that's kind of where it stopped with him. But it's propelled myself to make music. The love for it just continued to grow.
And certainly does as well too. You got a really good start, and of course, your dad being in the military, and you guys had a boom box. You would play, sing along, everything else. And what was that one other precise moment that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career?
Yeah, I would say when COVID hit, and um, we were just sitting around, we weren't allowed to go outside, we weren't really allowed to do anything. I just sat down and tried to teach myself the piano, and then from there, I was like, let me learn a song, and I put out a cover of um I think it was "Say You Won't Let Go" or something like that by James Arthur, and it got like 40,000 views in a day, and
Nice.
I didn't even think it was great, so I ended up taking it down. But people were
Oh,
reaching out,
40,000. You should have kept it up, made a little money off of it.
and I somehow made it work. But it ended up working for me because producers and people were reaching out, and they're like, "Hey, have you ever thought about making your own music?" And I said no, but I'm open to it, and they would send me guitar ideas and little riffs and instrumentals that they had put together, and I started writing songs over top of those. And one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump off the cliff and put music out and see what happens from there. And it's been a crazy ride since.
And it sounds like a crazy ride indeed. And we'll get to more of your music in just a minute here. And who are some of your favorite singers, songwriters, and musicians growing up?
Yeah, right now I'd go Riley Green. The way he tells a story is great. He also just has, traditional cool values that I can align myself with, and it's just good to sing along to music that you relate to. And I lived most of my life in Virginia on a 10-acre lot running a landscaping company. So listening to his music about, where he's from, I think he's from Alabama. My mom was from Mobile, Alabama. And so there's just a lot of things that I can relate to in his music. And I've taken his approach to songwriting and just being authentic to myself and talking about my life. And if people like it. And they started to. And so I just continue to keep diving into that lane of songwriting. And so Riley Green is probably the biggest inspiration to me right now. When I was growing up, I loved like Rascal Flatts, Rodney Atkins, Chris Young, Keith Urban, the legends. So I've always preferred country music. When I was in college, I listened to some pop and rap, but it never really felt like relatable or authentic. So I phased out of that real quick and just found myself listening to country music 24/7, and eventually started making it.
And you start making music yourself too, like Can't Take the Dog, single this summer, Richest Man I Knew, and also coming up Soldier's Son with Matt Oakley. We'll get to that here, but first listen to the Mike Wagner Show. Excuse me, at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today 1 800 303 3960. That's 1 800 303 3960, or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has got great reviews. An Evil Evan endorsed by Howard celebrities including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, Eminems. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Illuminifically, think tank of the future, brings scientists and engineers together from all over the world, creating a method to construct a renewable generator. This unique product operates on a closed loop system, basically generating more energy normally than it has to. The extra electricity can be used to run everything: homes, power grids, phones, laptops, and this power source is renewable, highly scalable, and most importantly, self-regenerating. For more information, visit facebook.com/elliptical. That's ELLUMENIPTCAL today. Also, Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Sweet Psalms by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalms gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms he wrote in his time as a shepherd and his complicated, turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, hope, repentance, betrayal, and more. Check it out. Amazon.com. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by High 10 Music, featuring the smash hit Baby Come Back. Check her latest at high10music.com. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, 40 podcast platforms. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to us on over 40 podcast platforms: YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, and more. And also, for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. If you're interested in this merchandise, email me, the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com. Also, check out the Me and Molson Studio store on Amazon for gifts, books, and more. And you can also subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube and also support the Mike Wagner Show, Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the multi-talented singer, songwriter, born in the military family, Matt Oakley, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Before we talk about Soldier's Son, and you also had a number of songs like What the Whiskey Does, and tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the Whiskey Does is a song that's pretty much flip on missing your ex, but only missing her when you've been drinking. So the whole tagline on it is, "Girl, I don't miss you, but the whiskey does." So it's like, I don't miss you until I start shooting whiskey, and then I start missing you. So it's not me; it's got to be the whiskey that does. So that's where that song came about. Finished it up in Florida with my buddy Dylan Ronan. He made the instrumental to it, guitar, beat, and everything, and we produced it, put it out, and people have liked that one. It's a fun one to play at shows. It's pretty modern, pop centric, but country as it gets, as far as the modern country world goes. Very kind of influenced by like a Morgan Wallen. So that one's a big fan of the Whiskey Does.
And certainly you can blame Jack for it as well, too, with some Southern comfort.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big Southern comfort guy.
Right, yeah, and of course, it gets into Dive Bar and Away with Words, and tell us more about those.
Yeah, so Die Bar and Away with Words were actually written in the same day. When I was in college, I sat down and had a couple ideas for songs, and I got a hold of these two instrumentals from a producer that we had worked with in the past, and I sat down, and about 10 hours later, I came out with those two songs, and really liked them. I ended up putting them out. So those are my first two songs I've ever released. But they're still good. You know, I still think that they compete with the ones I've got now. So it's nice to see ones that were written and made in, you know, my little home studio in my closet of Surfside, South Carolina. And then people liking those just as much as, you know, the new stuff. So it just goes to show that people have been very receptive of it, and those songs are a testament to that.
And certainly did as well, too. You also have The Richest Man I Knew, and also Single This Summer. And tell us more about those.
Yeah, Single This Summer was the first song I wrote in Nashville. And that's kind of sparked this drive to want to finish a record down here. And I ended up moving here. So that we wrote that about a year ago, and it just came out. Richest Man I Knew was a song I wrote with my father about my grandfather, who's his dad. It was just essentially a guy who didn't have much, but had very strong core values that he passed down to us. And so it's more so the sentiment that being rich doesn't really mean that you have a ton of money. It just means that you've kind of got life figured out in the wholesome, valuable ways. And I learned that from him, and he taught my dad, and I learned it more so through my father. So that's the richest man I know.
And certainly did as well, too. And of course, you got an interesting, which is simply Can't Take the Dogs. I like that one. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Can't Take the Dogs is about my childhood dog. It was when my parents split up. They kind of let the kids decide where they wanted to go, but the biggest argument was who got to keep. His name was Jack. It was our Australian Shepherd. So they fought over that, and it became a big deal. And then fast forward 15 years, I'm sitting there, had a little bit of a writer's block, and I was like, that's a good story. And I just sat down and just wrote exactly what happened, and that was that.
And certainly as well, too. I mean, we can't take the dogs, but the cats, maybe the dogs, that's always a battle point, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm not a cat guy. You can have them.
Oh, definitely did as well, too. And if there's other music out there we haven't covered, feel free to talk about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the last one would be the Soldier's Son song. That's a song I wrote about my dad. He was in the military for about 22 years exactly, actually. Um, that's a song that just kind of commemorates his service, and, you know, is a tribute to him, but also dedicated to all those who have served and laid their life down on the line for our freedom. And that's essentially where Soldier Son came from. And I've had the opportunity to play it at multiple events. I got one coming up here soon in DC. So just a good wholesome song. And I think as at this point we've gone over all the songs I've released, and they're all just part of my life along the way that I put into story form, and people have really liked them. So it's a cool thing to look at.
And you've had some patriotism pretty much embroiled in your career as well, too, like your dad being a DJ in the military, moving around and everything else. It's almost like in your blood as well.
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, we had American flags all over and huge Fourth of July parties, and I met a ton of veterans and a ton of his military buddies along the way. So it's been since as far as I can remember. So I was either born with it or learned it real young as soon as I came out.
And what else do you base your lyrics on?
uh, Pretty much just my life. I'd say stuff I've gone through, and then I'll bring the idea to some of my songwriting buddies, and we'll sit down and say, you know, this is worth making a song out of, or it's not. And sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is, and it turns into this really good thing. But um, I try to just be as authentic as I can these days. Spent the early part of my career trying to guess what people might like, and that just you're never going to get the best product that way. I think you're the only person who can make what you make, and so if you just lean into that, being yourself, you'll get the best product, and that's kind of where I've left things at.
So it's pretty much like what's in your heart, and not what like corporate says or anything like that. It's just simply you and only you, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. And what's coming up for the amazing multi-talented Matt Oakley? And find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing. Also brought to you by Illuminatively, think tank of the future. The sweet songs by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, now on Amazon, and Hayatan Music. Check her latest at HayutanMusic.com. We'll be back with the multi-talented singer-songwriter Matt Oakley of Soldier's Son after this time. We're back to the multi-talented singer-songwriter born to a military family, Matt Oakley, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a couple of, there's one more thing about Soldier's Son. Where can we find Soldier's Son and all your music at, Matt?
Yeah, so all my songs are out on every single platform. If you want to follow me on my socials, it's just Matt Oakley Music, just like that on every tag. And then if you are on, whether it be YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Amazon Music, you can just look up Matt Oakley and you'll be able to find it all right there.
All right, well, certainly check that out as well, too. And what else can we expect in 2024 and beyond?
Yeah, 2024 is we're obviously coming to an end here. I'm doing a few shows to close out the year, and then next year will be at some point. I don't have a date yet, but it'll be the year of my first debut record. So my full album will come sometime next year, and I'm looking forward to that.
And we're looking forward as well, too. Just keep us up to date on that. And who do you consider biggest influence in the career?
Biggest influence, I said it a little earlier, but I'd A to Z, I'd have to go Riley Green. I think he's got a good little authentic feel to him that you can't really argue. His music's great. He's got a good voice. He's got a good country feel. It's just authentic to him. And so I've tried to take a page out of his book and run with it.
Okay. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Just be yourself. Really, it's so played out and people say it all the time, but you're not really going to have fun or have a good time being anybody else. So that comes from experience. Like I said, I tried to guess what people might like or put out what I thought was cool to the world rather than what was right or cool and what was valuable to me. And it took me a long time to figure that out, but I'm 25 now. So I got a life ahead of me that I'm excited to live just the way that I want to live it, writing the songs that I want to write, telling the stories that I want to tell. So if you're out there, whatever it doesn't have to be songwriting. It can be your career, your friendships, your whatever it might be. Just be yourself. And I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you lay your head on your pillow at night. You'd rather be happy with who you are than unhappy with trying to be someone you're not. So just big on the whole be yourself thing.
And being 25 as well, you've got a ways to go. Most people don't figure out like 30, 40, 50 and all that. You got a great start ahead of you as well.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
There you go. That's a great thing. Well, the multi-talented singer-songwriter born to a military family with Soldier's Son, Matt Oakley, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Matt, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We love to have you back. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Yeah, wherever you get your music, I'll be on there. And whatever socials you prefer, I'll be on there as well. It's just Matt Oakley Music. And then anytime you look for the songs directly, it'll just be Matt Oakley, and you'll find it all right there.
All right, we'll certainly check that out. Once again, Matt, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We love having you back. We wish you all the best. And Matt, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
And thank you.